We are now on the part 5 of our discussion, and in this lecture video, what we're going to discuss is all about the acids and bases. Okay, the acids and bases properties. Okay, the acids and bases properties. Take note, guys, that one of the most common property of acid is neutralization. Okay, that is one of the most common properties ng ating acid and base reaction. Neutralization. Acids and bases reacts with each other, no? And then that is what we call neutralization. Another reaction that involves acids and bases is reaction with metals. Reaction with metals. Take note, guys, that a strong acid that reacts with certain metals produces hydrogen gas. Okay? Acid plus metal produces hydrogen gas. One of the best example of this reaction is our hydrochloric acid plus magnesium sheets or magnesium ribbon. When you add magnesium ribbon into a hydrochloric acid, no, it will give us magnesium chloride plus hydrogen gas. And this hydrogen, in the form of gas, will produce smoke and bubbles. Bubble formation it means that the hydrogen gas was released already, no, in the reaction. Now, reaction of strong acid with metal is simply an example of what we call a redox reaction. Okay? When the metal ion is being oxidized while the hydrogen is being reduced. Okay? So take note that the reaction of acid with metal is an example of a redox reaction. Again, in LMS, I've posted a table that summarizes the oxidation reduction of our metal that reacts with our acids. Okay? Another properties of acid and bases is the reaction with metal hydroxides. For example, we have hydrochloric acid plus potassium hydroxide. Now take note of this, guys. Take note of this. The product of reaction with metal hydroxide will always be salt and water. Okay? The product of the reaction of acid and base involving metal hydroxide is salt and water. So in this case, we have hydrochloric acid plus potassium hydroxide. Both are ionic compounds, right? We said that HCl dissolves in water or aqueous solution. No? An aqueous solution of hydrochloric acid contains hydrogen ion and chloride ion. Plus, KOH is also an example of ionic bond. No? It will give us potassium and hydroxide. So again, this is a net ionic equation if you still remember that one. So hydrogen will have an affinity with hydroxide, a negatively charged, which will give us water, and chloride and potassium, no, to give us potassium chloride. Okay? To give us potassium chloride. Okay? So, again, remember guys that the reaction with metal hydroxides will always give salt and water as our product. So, this is our salt. Now, another reaction is the reaction with metal oxides. Okay, so let me just delete this one. Okay, so number 4, we have the reaction with metal oxide. So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng metals na ang kasama ay oxygen. Okay? Now, the reaction will give us what? Water and salt. Okay? It will give us, again, water and salt. Let's say, for example, we have hydronium ion and reaction with calcium oxide. It will give us water plus water plus calcium salt. Okay? It will give us water and calcium salt. Okay? Another type of reaction is reactions with carbonates or bicarbonates. Reactions with carbonates or bicarbonate. Okay? So, let's say for example, the reaction, before the example, I will define first the reactions between carbonates and bicarbonates. So, this reaction, a strong acid reacts with carbonate to give carbonic acid. And this carbonic acid will immediately decompose into carbon dioxide and water. I repeat, the reactions with carbonates, a strong acid that reacts with carbonate will give us water, will give us carbonic acid, and this carbonic acid will immediately decompose to carbon dioxide and water. Example, we have hydronium. By the way, there should be balance, no? And the balance equation. What is the balance equation for that? Now, going back, reactions with carbonate. So, hydronium ion plus carbonate. CO3 negative. Sabi natin, it will give what? Carbonic acid. HCO3 plus water. Take note guys that this carbonic acid will immediately decompose into carbon dioxide and water. Bakit po nangyari yon? In reaction with hydrogen. Okay? Remember that the strong acid reacts similarly with bicarbonates. So if a strong acid reacts with carbonate, and the product will be carbonic acid, and this carbonic acid will immediately decompose to carbon dioxide and water. That is basically the same thing as for bicarbonate. Let's say for example, hydronium ion plus bicarbonate. ano, di na siya negative 2. Negative na lang. Okay. Will give us carbonic acid plus water. Again, this carbonic acid will immediately decompose to next reaction of or properties of our acids and bases is the reaction with amines or ammonia. Okay. Number 6, reactions with amines and ammonia. Okay, take note of this, guys. Any acid stronger than ammonium ion is stronger enough to react with ammonia. I repeat, any acids that is stronger enough or stronger than ammonium ion is enough to react with an ammonia to give a salt. Therefore, we have, for example, yeah, hydrochloric acid plus ammonia will give us what? Ammonium plus chloride. Okay? Ammonium plus chloride. Now, in organic chemistry part, no, in organic chemistry part, we're going to discuss amines, and we are going to recall this one. No, we are going to recall this property. But let's say, for example, no, let's say, for example, we have hydrochloric acid plus methyl amine, CH3, ba? NH2 lang pala. CH3 NH2 is an example of an organic compound which is amine. Okay, what will be the product of this one? So hydrogen will give proton, hydrochloric acid will release proton, so that will be CH3 and H3 positive plus C1. This is our methyl ammonium ion. And of course, this is our salt. Again, CH3 and H2 is our methyl. Ito po itsura niya, that will be like this. Three hydrogen attached to carbon and nitrogen attached to carbon with two hydrogen. Okay, this is an example of a primary amine. Okay, which will be discussed to you kapag po tayo ay nag-discuss na ng amine. Okay? So those are the properties of our acids and bases.